Hey everybody, welcome back to the Green-2-Great video series. If you've been following any of our Green-2-Great videos, you know that we like to talk to young people in the trades and just try to figure out what's going on in the trades and how can we help support the trades better. With me today is Grace Walsh. Grace, welcome. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you too.
Grace is a welder. And Grace, where do you work?
I work for AVS and Air.
AVS, what does that stand for?
Advanced Vacuum Systems.
And you weld for them. Is everybody in that company a welder or?
Nope, we have different departments, welding, assembly, electrical.
Gotcha. And they do the ventilation systems, AV, what was the V again?
Advanced Vacuum.
Vacuum, so they do some sort of systems that...
We do specialized furnaces for military and medical fields.
Oh, cool, okay. And then you probably are doing fabrication for installations and brackets and mountings and things like that, right?
Whole chamber.
Really? Awesome.
Start to finish.
Start to finish. Oh, I like it. So I have to ask you this. You are 3 years out of school? 2 years? Almost three, right? So, so you went to Minuteman Tech, which is a local trade school that we support. And what drew you to trade school?
I believe it was the hands-on learning experience that you get as a student. Different from a regular high school.
Way different, right? I mean, 1 week is, it's set up like 1 week is classroom, 1 week is hands-on shop.
Yes.
Right? Is that how you do it? And then in the junior and senior years, you go out in the field, right? You do co-op.
You can.
Yeah. Did you do that?
I did not.
You did not. So specifically, I'm asking what drew you to trade school. I know that when you, when you go to trade school, they make you go through, I think they call it tracks, right? Or a week in every...
Minuteman uses the word exploratory.
Exploratory. So you have to do like, how many different trades do you have to explore?
You get to do a half day in every single shop.
Is that enough time? Probably not, but...
Every single one, and then you narrow it down to a handful that you want to spend a whole week in.
Okay, so you did that and you picked welding.
Yes, I did.
Why?
I picked welding because I could make money right out of high school, and that was a big incentive for me. But I also fell in love with it.
Really? You liked it? Like
Yes.
sparks.
I know.
I like the sparks. She's right though. You do the analogy, we talked about this earlier. You get two equal kids going out of high school at the same time. One is a trade school kid, one's a high school kid. And one goes to college and one goes off into the trades, and they're making money right off the bat. And 4 years later, one's in debt and the other one owns their car, maybe has 50 grand in the bank, hopefully, down payment for a house, or there's so much well or better prepared for life with the trade. And we were talking about this earlier too, how like for decades parents have kind of poo-pooed the trades, like you can't go in the trades, you have to go to college, you'll be a zero or a nobody, and that's hard. So that's great. So you picked welding because of money, and then you fell in love with it, and you were kind of intrigued with it. Obviously you wouldn't have picked it. Do you think that Minuteman or trade school in particular prepared you well for welding? I mean, did you, day one? I
believe Minuteman, especially my welding shop, prepared me to the best of their abilities. It's completely different once you actually start working in the field.
Yeah.
But I was able to go out there and weld day one with my stick certificate.
Did you, was it AVS or somebody else that you worked for?
I worked for a non-union ironworking company.
Ironworking. Did you find that the non-working iron company's equipment was, say, better than the trade schools, or was it the other way around, or was it different in any way?
I would say it was completely different. In the welding shop, you have booths set up. Right. Everybody has a different welder. When we were out in the field, we had the welder attached to the truck.
Right.
You had to carry your leads up ladders and everything like that. Right. So it was a big shock.
Learning curve.
Yes.
Yeah. Change. I know when I'm connected with the carpentry portion of Minuteman. That's how I met Eric and Luke. And I know when I first got involved at Minuteman with the carpentry class, you know, it was like there were like 8 different kinds of circular saws. They were all corded, they electrical tape. They were all in disrepair. And you know, like when Luke came and worked with us, we were all cordless. So it's kind of a very different. The tools were very different for them. So that's interesting. I'm glad that they had you prepared. You could stick welding and do that. But there's other types of welding, right? It's stick, MIG, TIG. TIG. I'm just trying to pretend like I knew what I was talking about for a minute. There's like how many types of welding or welders? Are there 3 or 4 different types?
There's many different types.
Are you expected to be able to do all of those at your job, or is it one focus?
At my current job now, it is mainly focused on MIG and TIG.
MIG and TIG.
So I've been able to pick up on TIG pretty quickly and learned it right off the bat. But every job you go to in the welding field has different processes of welding that they prefer.
Right. Can you, MIG and TIG, I have no idea, I'm not going to pretend to know the differences, but can you go from MIG to TIG or TIG to MIG without a certification, or are you supposed to get certified, or is it just another welder that you just have to learn the techniques and do it?
Everyone should be certified if they are working in the field. Hobbyists,
doesn't matter.
Doing stuff in your garage, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
But working in the field, you should be certified in the process that you are going to be using every day.
Especially if you're doing vacuum systems and stuff like you're talking about. Here's an interesting question. We talked about this, and I told you I might ask this. As a young woman, when you entered into the workforce as a welder, right, day one, how was that? Were you immediately accepted? Did you have to prove yourself? Was there a hazing process? I know when we were younger, they would haze us pretty hard. I purposely don't haze Luke because of that. But what was your experience? I mean, we're talking 2022, 3, and 4 now. Is it still kind of that process? Or?
I would say it's not as aggressive as it was probably back when you started. But there is definitely a little bit of a hazing process. They want to make sure that you are able to take a joke, you can handle it.
Yep.
I definitely had to prove myself. I am a very small woman, so they didn't believe that I could lift some of the stuff I can lift and weld as well as I can. So proving myself was definitely there. But once I did, and I showed everybody that I can do this, and I'm pretty good at it.
When you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
I do know for anyone starting a new job, especially the trades especially, but probably all aspects of careers, newbies have to prove themselves. But I also think that as a woman in it's a male-dominated, say what you want, it's 99 or 98% male-dominated trade, you have to probably prove yourself even more than another newbie who's a guy. And that's probably the reality. And that sucks for you, and it sucks for all women. And it's a reality that I hope changes, but sounds like you were able to navigate that and, you know, deal with the assholes when they arose and whatever. But I'm sure there were some great people there too that were mentoring and open and accepting as well. Do you think, I think I asked you this earlier when we were chatting, do you know a lot of other female welders?
I do not.
Do you think there is a negative stigma, or just I think when I was younger it was we used to call it junkies and flunkies. If you were an idiot or you were a junkie or druggie or pothead or whatever, they sent you to trade school, the Voc school they called it. And so the regular kids went to high school and the junkies and flunkies went to trade school because they couldn't pay attention. At the time, and I'm talking 80s, most of those kids had ADD. They were undiagnosed. Nobody knew we had ADD, so they, you couldn't sit still or you couldn't focus in class, so they thought you were just a joker. What do you think the problem is today with a massive lack of young people in the trades? I mean, it's obvious when you go to work. What's the average age at your place? Would it be 40s?
I would say so, yes.
Yeah. So I think the average age of the tradesman today is 50. Across all trades. I'm in my 50s. My guy Dan's in my 50s, and we have Luke who's 21.
Yep.
So it's like, and we're lucky to have him. I mean, people are struggling trying to find young people who want to work. So do you see it? I mean, you went to trade school, so how many of those kids that you went to school with are now welding?
From my class, only 2, me included.
And how many people were in your class?
I believe it was 8.
That sucks. So that's not even 50%. So 2 out of 8 went on to welding. Do you know what the other 6 did, or?
I do. They actually went into college.
So they went to trade school, learned how to weld, and then they went to college. Okay, all right. Do you have? I mean, you just lived this a few years ago. So, what's your thoughts on this? Why do you think this is happening or has happened?
I believe there is a stigma around it, like you said,
Yeah.
where people think if you want to succeed in life, you have to go to college.
Right.
And to be fair, sometimes it is. Like what I'm going for, construction management, I am going to college full time and working full time.
You're doing that at night and online, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's just a step up. I still want to stay near my trade, but a step up, right? Mm-hmm. So everyone believes that they have to have a degree to make money, when in reality, you don't. Yeah,
I know so many people in life who are not doing anything related to their degree in college. Nothing. Some of them are serving coffee at Starbucks now. I mean, it's like, so college is not for everybody. I think for some people, it's 4 more years to mature, because you're just, for a lot of guys, especially guys that I knew, we were just way too mature for the workforce or whatever. And I think for other people, I don't know, maybe it's a success story for them, but I think the trades are a great path, and I think that I think it's changing now a little bit. Like 20 years ago, I didn't know any female welders. I know 2 now. I know Grace and 1 other. I think that and I know a lot of other women in the trades doing other things. I know 2 female electricians. I know a plumber. I know a plasterer. I couldn't say that 20 years ago. So, but the reason why I know these people are through the video channel too, because we become friendly through, like trade shows and things like that. I meet them, but I think that's great, and I think it's changing a little bit. But I do still feel that parents are still pushing college, definitely. So, kind of sucks, but I definitely want people to know that the opportunity to make real money is out there, especially, and I tell people all the time, if you get really good at your trade and really skilled at what you do, and then you start your own business and you own your own business and you have employees and you run a business, you'll then see the money. That's where the money is. So anyway, tell me about your parents. How did they feel about you going to trade school? What was the conversation about when you said, hey, I'm going to go to learn how to weld?
They were pretty excited. My family actually wanted me to go into plumbing because we own a septic company.
Oh.
So that was what they really wanted me to go into. I know. Unfortunately, it was not where I wanted to be. So I picked welding. My mother was a little concerned at first.
Why? Just sparks, or?
Yeah, when I told her some of the stuff I was working with and what I'd be doing, she was a little protective, but that's okay. She's been able to see me grow as a person through this trade and learn a phenomenal skill that has helped me in more ways than one.
I want to learn how to weld. I've always wanted to learn how to weld. I just got a welder, so I'm going to start learning hopefully this summer. I think it's a great skill, and you can fix all kinds of stuff, and so that's great that your parents were supportive about that. I really love that. And what about your friends? So not all your friends went to trade school. Some of them stayed in high school or went to college. How did that happen for you? So high school and trade school are kind of like high school, but once that ended and you started working full time, what was that like?
It definitely made it so it was harder to see my friends.
Yeah.
But that's the way life is. They're true friends, and they understand that I'm busy and I have a lot going on.
They're partying on Wednesdays and Thursday nights.
Gotta be up at 7.
You're not doing that. Yeah.
So I mean, that's completely fine with me. They picked a different path in life, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That was just not the path that I chose.
Of your friends that went to college, they're out now, I would think, right? Or almost out? One more year?
1 to 2 more years.
So we don't know yet if they're going to work in their careers yet. Curious.
One of them is going for accounting, and he already works for an accounting firm, and
So he's
well, right on it.
Got the path on it. Okay. You had a different experience. You started in high school, like freshman year, and then you ended up going to trade school, high school trade school. So my question for you is this. When you were in high school, I know they have guidance counselors and career days and all kinds of stuff like that. How much information, in your experience, was provided to students about the trades versus, say, college?
There was not a lot of information given out.
It's too bad.
I know that Minuteman does go around to middle schools, your 8th grade year,
Yep.
and that was the most information that I had gotten.
Interesting. But that's Minuteman promoting their stuff.
Yes.
It's not high school saying, here's your options. Instead of going college, it's college, trades, you know. I remember, I mean, I'm going back, I graduated high school in 1985. There was nothing about trade schools, or I should say the trades, other than we had the VOC. And they would push you to the VOC. But if you stayed at the high school, and I did, it was all college stuff. College prep, college this, college preparatory classes, all this stuff. There was no mention about trade stuff. I've got to guess that the people at the VOC, at the trade school, probably did get pushed to the trades, but we didn't at the high school. So that's pretty interesting. All right, I want to ask you, as a female welder in the trades, what advice would you have for young women entering the trades, or entering welding for that matter?
The advice that I would give to any young women out there that want to join the trades or welding is to not be afraid of actually going into the field and treating everybody with respect. You will get treated with respect back. Proving yourself, yes, to an extent. Once you do, you have friends for life, and just learning as much as you can. These guys are getting ready to retire.
Yeah.
And they really do want to give their knowledge down to younger people so that we can keep going and keep building the trades and everything. And that's what I am all
Just
in
gave
there.
me goosebumps. I read a statistic about a year ago in one of the, I think it was Remodeling Pro magazine or whatever that I get, and it said the average age of the tradesperson was 55, and I said that already earlier. And then it said for every 5 retirees, 1 replacement.
Yep.
That's scary. So what does that mean 10 years from now? Does that mean that, like, you've got a leaking water heater and you've got to wait 5 weeks for a plumber? Or they're going to charge you 18 times to, put you at the front of the, I don't know. I mean, that's horrible and it's scary. Or does it mean we're going to get all these gypsies coming down and people picking up wrenches and saying, I'm a plumber, and just hacking work through like they did in the late 90s, I guess it was. Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, it is.
But that's good advice for young women. Do you have any other advice or anything you'd like to say about welding and your experience as a welder?
I think that's it. Just make sure you learn as much as you can while these guys are still in and able to teach you.
Nice. I will say that Grace is, can I call you a super fan? Grace is a fan. Grace is a super fan of Toolbox Bros videos. She watches all of our tool review videos, I think. Not the carpentry ones, probably, right?
No, I still watch
You
the
still watch
carpentry
the
ones.
carpentry
I
ones?
love learning about
Oh, awesome. Touchdown. I thought you were just a tool review
it. I'm both.
girl, video tools. But Grace watches all of our videos, and so when we were talking a while back, I was teasing her. I'm like, you got to come and do a video with us. So she said she would. I think you did great, by the way.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us. Take care. Bye, everybody. Did great.
Oh my god.
That was perfect.
You want to see it?
Yes, she does.
You did
Now I
great.
see it.
I was like shaking
Should I-
the entire time.